want to get a video. I'm going to forget things today. So what I want to do is kind of make note to myself right in the beginning. It's rainy, so I'm going to say a few things, and if that way it's a note to myself. I've been on the rush, on the go. I want to get out of the rain. Okay, let me see. San Juan, Puerto Rico. Malachi and Luke. And let's see, Danny, Jerome. Okay. Today's the second day I'm in New Jersey, New York City. And I try to just remember, I'm trying to remember the routes when I'm in the city because, I don't look at, when I travel like this, I don't Google directions, like even on the highway. I try to just remember which roads, and I had a road atlas. So when I get on the bus and come to New York, I'm going to walk down the street. From here, I could walk to Central Park, could walk to the Empire State, and just walk the whole area. But when I got off the bus, I was at Port Authority, 42nd and 8th. And I think I remembered looking at one of my old journals, and it said 55th and Madison, just in my head. So I walked all the way to 55th. And on the way, I ran into that homeless guy that I interviewed. You've seen on the other video. His name is Jerome. And Jerome, I just seen him sitting on the street, and I thought, you see a lot of the New Jersey friends of mine, but you don't see any homeless guys in New York City yet that I've actually, talked to. But I don't have a lot of close friends here in the city, just many in New Jersey. So I thought, next time I'm in New York City, I'll try and talk to one of the homeless guys and do a little interview. So I saw Jerome as I'm heading to 55th Street, walking down 8th Avenue. And I said, he had a sign out, asking for money. He was reading the Gospel of John. I said, Jerome, I grew up in North Bergen, and I'm back. I told him the whole story. I said, but I do a homeless ministry, and I've not talked to anybody in New York. He said, okay, yes, and you saw that video before this, if I remember everything. And so I talked to Jerome for maybe 20 minutes, and the phone shut off. I would have kept the camera on longer, but it shut off by itself. So anyway, I told Jerome, I'm going to give you $5, not just for the video, but I said, I do this. I help the homeless guys and all in Texas. So he was like, whatever you want, John, that's fine. And then when it was done and the phone shut off, I invited Jerome, I'll take you out to eat lunch. I said, but it can't, like McDonald's, brother, because I'm running short on money on this trip. So he turned it down, and then when I was going to give him the $5, I had just a few dollars and then a 20. Now look, I would have given him the 20, but I'm short on money, okay? Like watching my gas and all. So I said, man, Jerome, let me go in and get a coffee at this restaurant and I'll give you the $5. I went in for a few seconds. Sure enough, I came out and he was gone. And, these are big streets. And he had stuff on the ground. And he was gone. I said, what homeless guy would leave knowing he was going to get $5? And I looked up and down each street, like the long streets. I thought, how could he have? And it made me think of that verse, some have entertained angels without knowing it. And it just kind of made me a little freaked out. Well, then I walked to 55th Street and then to Madison, down towards Madison, which I thought was St. Patrick's, because I do that walk every year I'm back. And I couldn't find St. Patrick's. And I said, man, and I asked somebody on the street, he said, no, you're about 5 blocks off. And then I remembered, I think it's, the streets I remember, I think are 50th in Madison, or maybe 5th in Madison. I had it off. I know this is 5th here. So then I realized if I didn't walk those extra 5 blocks out of the way, I would have not run into Jerome. And I thought the mass started at 11:30. Now it's a short mass. It's only 30 minutes here. Not enough time for teaching. Okay, now listen to this if I remember. So I thought, oh, I'm going to be late because I walked 5 blocks the wrong way, which I wouldn't run into Jerome if I didn't do that. And then I figured, oh, I'll still get in on the end. But no, it started at 12 at noon, so I made it 10 minutes early. And they don't teach a lot. This is a daily mass at St. Patrick's. Sure enough, the priest quoted from Malachi and from Luke. Now, I do this when I'm in Texas, and I did not see the readings. You didn't get a paper here. The verse from Malachi is one I've quoted a lot the last month. Behold, I will send my messenger before thy face. It's talking both of John the Baptist and of Jesus. Jesus is going to refine us, the ministry of John. And before that great day of the Lord comes, Elijah the prophet will be sent before you, and will turn the hearts of the children to the fathers, and the fathers to the children. Behold, before the great notable day of the Lord will come suddenly to his temple. He will refine the sons of Levi, meaning those in ministry, the priesthood. He will refine them so they will give a pure offering unto God. I mean, it's really a lot of teaching I can do on that. Then he went to Luke, and when John the Baptist was born, and they said, what are you going to name him? It's a famous story. And they say John. We'll name him John. And it was a strange name to use at that time, because no one in the family had that name, but that was a prophetic name given. The name John is beloved, if I'm remembering it right. So, then he taught. They don't do a long sermon or homily on a 30-minute St. Patrick's, but he almost apologized for what he taught on. He was teaching real quick. He said, when I look at the seal of Puerto Rico in Latin America, he said it says St. John, and I think he said it says the verse. And then he said the reason for that is because of the Spaniards and the Spanish colonists of the Americas. I just posted that today. I made that video called Holy Savior in Texas, and I was real behind on my schedule. And this morning on the video called Holy Savior, it's San Salvador. I'm talking about Columbus and the Spanish colonists in Latin America. And sure enough, the priest is talking about Puerto Rico, San Juan, and saying how, yes, the scriptural name. So you could say Holy Savior, and the next video could have been and San Juan. It was strange that the short teaching he did, because they do not do a long homily on this midday noon mass. I just thought that was interesting. Now, there's more I might forget about. When I woke up this morning, I didn't get to read and pray, and I'm still a little road weary. But I thought, I'm going to read my one psalm. And God will speak to me through those psalms every time I read in order. And I was a little leery, like I might read something like, thou rebel, you should not have made this. In Psalm 105, one of the verses says, you will possess the land. And I crossed out the word, whatever it says. I crossed it out and wrote North Bergen. I must have wrote that a few years back. And that was when I was here, I guess. It said, you're going to go back to your land. And I actually put the word North Bergen. So I began sensing, when I saw Rick yesterday and Danny today, it's Wednesday the 23rd, both of them said, isn't that amazing? Just yesterday, the day I arrived, because I asked Danny, I said, Rick said, y'all were talking about me yesterday. And they were, Rick and Nick and Danny, I have not seen Nick yet, they were all saying, where's John? He's supposed to be here. The messenger sent. But they were all saying that, and they were surprised that this is sort of how, God works. It was more significant to Rick and to Danny because they said, we were just all talking about when's John coming? He's supposed to be here, and he didn't come, and he never comes in December. It's usually October because it's too cold, but surprisingly, it's like October weather. These are to them, to Rick and to Danny. That's why I tried to get that video when I first seen them. It was a confirmation or a surprise that I showed up. Danny said the same day that they were all asking, isn't he supposed to be here? Now, God sometimes will do things like that to confirm confirmed to other people that, oh, maybe this is like an important time. And that just stuck with them. And then I forgot. See where I am right now? Look where I'm standing. I've never stood here and made a video. For about a month and a half, I'm not going to say I had visions, but I'm going to tell you the one image I had when I was debating, should I go to New York, should I go to New Jersey, should I not? The one image I had that I kept seeing in my mind was standing right here and teaching. And when I left today, I didn't know I'd come to the city today, New York City, and I wasn't sure I'd make St. Patrick's. And then I thought, oh, this is what I've been seeing. I had that image for about a month and a half. I'm not going to say vision, but I'm going to say I saw myself standing right here. Never done one before. So God sometimes confirms things. There are probably a few more verses and things that already happened that I'm forgetting on this. And I don't want to go long on these because I'm going to try and upload all of these to my YouTube and not make teaching videos, because I'm very impatient. When I'm up here, I have like time and I want to be out. And I'll probably try to be in the city today all day. And I'll try and walk around, and I think I'll try and do that. It's a little rainy, but I wanted you to remember those few things. And I know I'm going to forget some things because a lot of times God will use things that are interesting. Danny, when I talked to him, you didn't see it on the video, but I showed off the video, and he mentioned something about Ecclesiastes. I said, I just taught that, Danny. He said, really? It was a certain verse. To him, it wasn't a verse, but I said, look, that's in the Bible. And then he mentioned something on Einstein, which I just taught, something on the other video on Einstein. So oftentimes you get confirmation. Plus, you got in the beginning of this video, I'll title it St. Patrick's. You saw inside of St. Patrick's. It's the first time I've been back. When I came in July, I did not make St. Patrick's. So try and maybe read some of those scriptures. I'm not going to post them. Okay? God bless.